What's up, guys? Hope you all having a good day today. But we want to thank you all for tuning into the Twisted Younginz show. And we are the most unorthodox show on the globe. And as always, I am one of your hosts, Myra B. King.
And this is Desi Dez.
And it's your boy Mojo in the building. We have a special guest with us today. Let the people know who you are, sir.
Yo, it's Blake. I'm out here in Colorado, just going through all the crazy topics with the rest of the world. So I'm happy to have you guys. I'm happy you guys hit me up. So
are you in the mountains?
So you're in Colorado?
Yeah.
So do you know about the Denver airport conspiracy?
Yeah, I dug through that a little bit, man. It's they've taken a lot of the murals down, like the Nazi and because it had like the little boy with all the weapons that he was handing over to the Nazi and stuff. They took all that down, but the gargoyles and stuff and the Lucifer horse is still there. So I don't know.
Have you ever been in the airport?
What is it?
Have you ever been in the airport?
Oh yeah. And I was standing there last year waiting to get out. I was going back home down to Arkansas, and I look over to my left, and it's a gargoyle standing on a suitcase, and he just looks all creepy. It's just, I don't know, the New World Airport too. That's what they call it. I mean, come on, and it's laid out in a swastika, which goes back to the Black Sun type stuff. So,
yeah, they say it's like also an underground thing there too.
It is
a big underground tunnel.
I mean, most airports have underground tunnels because that's how
but not like that.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
I'm talking
they
about
have
tunnel,
underground, and then they have another tunnel. But you indulging in the 420 activity out there?
Oh yeah, no, I grow. And you can actually grow mushrooms out here too. I grow mushrooms and
what kind?
Actually, just got my garden going. What kind of mushrooms or weed?
Psychedelic mushrooms.
Yeah. I just started some penis envies and Molmec, and there's some brand new ones called hillbillies. They're basically Golden Teacher, our version of Golden Teacher. So
okay,
so
I did all that last week.
I ain't never dove into it. What's the difference between all the separate psychedelic mushrooms? What's the difference between them?
So that question is even bigger than what are the differences between all the strains of weed. Like, do you guys smoke pot?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so like, you have your indicas, your sativas, your
Well, he
hybrids
does.
and all that jazz. But whenever it comes down to like mushrooms, like the white mushroom or the red mushrooms with the white specks, you see them everywhere, Amanita muscaria. Like that's even a psychedelic mushroom, but it's not even considered a psychedelic. So like the mushrooms, like whenever it comes to tripping, like there's such a huge spectrum. You got the ones from like Thailand and all that. You got your ones that grow down in the south and the cow poop. So there's all different kinds, and they all affect you completely differently.
Which one would you recommend?
I mean, it would depend on what you're trying to do. Like if you're trying to have a spiritual awakening, doing some penis envies, those are typically the strongest mushroom there is. I actually have some in there. I have like decoration mushrooms I leave around. I do the same thing with my weed. Like any of the pretty nugs I don't smoke, I'll just clip them and put them like your grandma used to have wax apples. I got decoration weed and mushrooms. So
you ever welcome any entities, any spirits in with these mushrooms?
I stay away from that because you can open doors that you can't close, and you don't know what's behind a lot of those doors. So yeah, I'm not much into trying to invite any. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I'm not like your typical Christian or anything like that, but I believe in Jesus and all that. So I definitely don't try and connect to any entities. Because I've had some paranormal things happen when I was a kid, and ever since then I've just stayed far away from that stuff because, like I said, you can open a door that can never be shut again. So
could you explain that paranormal activity if you don't mind sharing?
So it's really weird. All right, so I grew up on a farm in Arkansas. It's a cow pasture, everything, blah blah blah. This is around the time the Iraq War happened. My stepdad got sent to the war. My mom ended up doing some weird stuff, so we ended up living on that farm for at least 6 months by ourselves. My aunt would come out there, blah blah blah. She was kind of a hippie crazy lady. So I tried mushrooms for my very first time at 12 years old, and right at that time, like I feel like that's whenever my consciousness like woke up. Like I guess I was aware of myself in ways that I'd never been aware before. And like I said, all that crazy stuff was happening, and an Australian black swan landed in our pond, and this is in Arkansas, so that doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't leave either, so it lived in our pond for about 2 months, and so we ended up looking it up, and it was a bad omen. My whole life changed after that period. I was like a wild child, real bad kid, and they tried to like send me to stay with my uncle who was a preacher, and yeah, I remember seeing like these little, like, oh man, I just remember him like putting his hand over my head one night when like something, I don't know what was going on. It's kind of uncomfortable. I don't mind talking about it, but it's just kind of hard to get it out, I guess. But yeah, I was like this black, almost like the Cheshire cat in the corner of a room, and I remember him like praying on like over my head and stuff, and that was the last time I ever experienced that. But that at that same time, like my stepdad, like I said, he was in the Iraq War, so they sent he had sent a bunch of stuff back that he wasn't supposed to bring back, like Iraqi bayonets and some money, like it was it had no value. The money was just kind of like in a lamp. But that lamp, I never saw this. My brother and sister swear it happened, but that lamp like slung itself and broke itself across the wall. But I think there was some type of entity. I really do. I think that there was something that was messing with them, and there was something that was messing with me, and it had to do with, because I'm pretty sure that some of that stuff came out of Saddam's palace. So yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, whenever it comes to like entities and things like that, like I try and stay far away from that. I've done a lot of DMT, and spoke with those kinds of entities, but I'm not like summoning. I'm not summoning that. Like you do it. You go to this place for about 10 minutes, and you have interactions with weird things, but you're not summoning. Like you're not like trying to use a Ouija board and like summon something, because I think when you do that kind of stuff, you can totally end up somewhere you don't want to be, for sure.
So from what caused you to look more into the world, to look into, okay, is the earth flat, look into conspiracy theories, look into, okay, finding answers other than what we're taught in school? You know what I mean? How did you get to that point?
I got kicked out of every school I ever went to. I literally expelled from every school I ever went to. After that story I just told you, I had to go live with my real dad. Went to Germany, lived over there for a long time, got kicked out of Germany. I wasn't allowed back into the country until I was 18. So I was just kind of like that kid that just didn't fit in anywhere. And like I said, I had that mushroom experience when I was 12. So I had this like outlook on things that was a little different than everybody else. And so basically anything that anybody had told me, I'm going to immediately research it, go down through every single rabbit hole. And like I've said, I've said this for at least the last 10 years. Anything I say, the most trusted person says, like, believe none of it and question every single bit of it. Because like once you start believing things, you start closing doors to other areas. And that was a big staple in my life. And so it doesn't, living like that stops you from going down a single solitary path of, the programming and indoctrination of society these days. And so I was just butting heads with absolutely everything I could. And that'll lead you to some pretty weird spots, which is where I've been.
So what brought you out of that phase of, you said you were getting kicked out, had to go live with your dad, you know what I mean? You weren't really, I don't want to use the word mentally stable, but clearly there was something going.
I was a psychopath.
Yeah, there was something going on. So how did you come out of that?
So that didn't, I got addicted to painkillers back when I was in high school. I broke my back a bunch. I raced motocross, freestyle BMX, like mountain bike, snowboard. I do all this stuff, so I break a lot of things. Ended up getting addicted to pills from like 16 until 24. And when I was 23, I worked at a meat department, and this like weird old lady came through, and she was like, I got some of these pills, blah, blah, blah. So I hooked her up with like a bunch of bacon and stuff, like for like $3. And so she gave me these pills. And yeah, I did some of those for a while, and I ended up letting some of my friends take some of them. It kind of messed with them pretty bad. But the real moment where I changed my life is I woke up on the toilet, because I guess those pills, like, you couldn't really pee on them. So I like sat down to try and pee, and I guess I fell asleep, and my whole bottom half went numb. I guess I sat there for like 4 hours, and I fell off the toilet like Lieutenant Dan style, like screaming. I was like, I messed up. I messed up. Like, you done fucked up, Aaron. Like, you know, like it. And so that was the moment where I was like, you have to change something. And I packed my entire car, both my pit bulls, the crazy girlfriend I had at the time, and we moved to Colorado. I'd never even been here. Yeah, I got rid of everything I knew. I gave this lady that lived next to me all my furniture, all that stuff, and yeah, I drove out here, and it almost didn't work, but here I am now, living out in the hills. Beautiful. So
I want to appreciate. I appreciate you for sharing what you shared, man. Seriously,
yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's
totally. Because I mean,
I can still hear your voice trembling
for everybody. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, no matter how stuck you are, like, there's a way out of all that stuff. Like, I never thought that I'd ever, get away from that addiction. And that's a demon itself. That's a possession. It's not you. It's your physical being that is kind of egging your spiritual being to doing something that you shouldn't be doing. It's the yin and the yang, the devil and the angel. It's the same thing. Like, your physical body, which I think is the devil, and I think your mind is God, right? Like, the physical, well, how do you make a human? You make it with carbon. What's carbon? It's 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. You are the mark of the beast, but your mind is like all powerful.
Well, I don't believe that, but I do believe demons are real, and it does, it will entice you to sin. It will, you need to take these pain pills, go and take them. You love the feeling, the flesh is weak. So yeah, you succumb to, taking the drugs, just like a lot of people succumb to fornicating. They want to get the relief.
Right.
They
right, yeah, and it's all
love porn.
Drugs come in different ways.
Yeah, right? Sin come in different ways. And all of those sins are spirits behind it that wants you to fulfill that sin. They want to fulfill that fantasy. That's what they want. So, yeah. But I don't, I believe that we are flesh. Of course, we're sinful, now, right. But I believe God created us. So I don't think we the mark of the beast.
Well, no, yeah. I guess I don't want it to sound like that. I just mean like,
you broke it down to like an atom level, right? Like to that,
right,
neutrons
right.
and all
like,
that. But yeah,
right. Like
it's what they use. They use that to get the bad. I get where you're going. You're saying like with how like with the Masons and the elites and how they use like, just like they use a God created man on the 6th day. You know what I mean? They use, 6, like you said, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, or whatever that is. They take that and they definitely make it bad for sure. You know what I mean?
Right. The same way. The same way the sun goes, or the earth goes around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. And it's all these, it's like, come on.
And how would they even know the earth is moving that fast?
Right. Like, you don't know. Like, oh, well, we pointed a laser and, get out of here, dude. Like, go play with a dog. Like, or go play with a cat with that laser. Like, I'm not believing anything you're going to tell me.
Yeah, because they can lie just like we lie. They can tell you the sun is 6,666 degrees. And you don't know, so you're just gonna take their word for it. As long as they put it on the internet and put it on Google, you'll believe it.
Exactly, and that's what they say. They say that they make these things so big and so you can't figure these out. It's like these numbers are so like you can't even wrap your mind around them. So how would you ever even disprove them?
Right?
It's hilarious.
I saw a guy do a video. Basically, I don't even know like all the logistics of it, but he basically was saying they're really like 13 months. And like with those 2 extra days, so he said with the 2 extra days, it'll be like something he was saying about 2 extra days.
Right. So, that comes. So the Romans changed the calendar in 55 or 550 AD, I want to say. And so we always had 13-month, 28-day cycle. And if you look at that, it's actually like a turtle shell, for instance, 13 big squares, 28 small. And that's why like Indian cultures say that the earth rests on top of a turtle, like going through space or whatever. And yeah, and so that actually links up with women's fertility. That's why, like, you know, the moon also represents women. Like, you look at the divine feminine, it's crescent moon, full moon, crescent moon. Like, in my opinion, the moon is the ovaries to this planet. Like, this is how God gets like our souls into these bodies, is through the moon. But the sun governs like all physical, which is why those Satanists and all those people,
why they worship the sun and the moon.
Right, because it's the physical.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the Bible before?
Yeah.
From cover to cover?
I mean, not from cover to cover. I it's hard for me to read almost anything from cover to cover, but I crack it open all the time. I've got it right next to my bed.
I know you probably read the Book of Revelation, huh?
Yep, and I got the Book of Enoch in there too because I wanted to pick through that.
Definitely should.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting. Any of that stuff in the First Testament, like before the Second Testament, I find to be so interesting. The Second Testament, you know, I like to see what led up to that. And like I was saying, I think you guys might have commented on one of my videos about like Ishtar and all that stuff for the Easter stuff, because that wasn't making a lot of sense to me. The way, like, you know, Christmas is on the winter solstice, Easter is on the spring equinox, like in both of these times. So like the sun goes through its elliptical orbit, right? On the 21st of December, it stops moving. Okay. It doesn't start moving again until the 25th. God's one and only SUNSON was born, right? So now we go to Easter. So the same thing happens. It stops and then it starts again. So it stops on Good Friday and it starts on Easter Sunday.
And the pagan holiday.
Right. And so like that's what wasn't making sense to me. And I was like, okay, so why is that the case? You know, and it was kind of like almost like it was trying to like discredit Jesus in my head. But then I was like, of course, like, no. So this is what they used to do. So Ishtar, the whore of Babylon, they would have orgies on Easter, right? What is 9 months away from Easter? Christmas. That's whenever they would sacrifice all of the babies. What was Jesus sent down here for? To die on the cross for our sins, to stop all these sacrifices and all the weird crap that was going on through the pagan religions that were worshiping the sun.
For sure.
I mean, it's definitely a lot more when you dig into that Book of Enoch, for sure. Right. Especially when you're talking about why Jesus was sent back down here. They were doing a lot, man. Fallen angels and the Nephilims. There's a lot going on.
But also going back to his point, it was so much stuff going. Imagine the amount of sacrifices they were doing, because he was, even in the Old Testament, he kept saying they keep sacrificing their children. Like, look what they're doing. They keep running their children through the fire. They keep doing all this types of stuff. Those times were actually pretty dark and crazy. Dark and crazy.
I mean, I think they're feeding people to people through fast food, man. I really do. Like, you know, you look up the FDA and the allotted amount of human DNA allowed in any of that food, it'll blow your mind. Like, you know, I mean, I'm not against, you know, anybody, but like the Jews kind of run things when it comes to that. And like, I don't know if you guys saw that video of that, you know, that Jewish guy talking about how they feed the goyim to the goyim and all this and that. And like, you get into like the Talmud and all that. And it's like, geez. Okay. Well, that's kind of scary. Like, did you guys stumble across the Taco Bell logo yet?
Yes.
I thought that was kind of stupid. And then I started looking at it. I was like, oh man, is this the Goyim thing? Is this the 666? Is this the feeding?
Even the McDonald's logo, if you turn it
upside down,
up on its side or upside down, you know, not just McDonald's logo, these hotel logos, gas station logos, bank logos, the bank logos.
Who was this, David? You say
the devil's world.
Oh, okay. He doing his business.
I mean,
doing his thing.
Yeah,
but, but it's like once you have those eyeballs, it's like I knew it was okay. You can say it's a devil. It is a devil's world, but once you start looking around, like, oh, he's in my face everywhere I go. Right. Pharmaceutical companies, food, all types of stuff.
And that's what I was saying. Like the physical is the devil, and like your mind is God. Like you. Like the whole.
Oh, you mean not physical, like physical body, physical, like the surrounded, like what's on the outside of the world, like like you just said, Taco Bell logo, the stuff they trying to do, put in food, like okay. I got you.
That's the sun shit. That's the sun where that's all that, the physical.
Yeah.
So,
but it does say he who say they are Jews, but they are not, but of the synagogue of Satan. So the things that they're doing is of the synagogue of Satan. So they're not, Jews.
Masquerading as something else, just like you said. It's wild, man. As you dig through these things, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
And you'll find out in the book of Enoch that, he basically was telling them, the biggest issue with the fallen angels and why the Lord wanted to judge them was because they gave out the information. They gave them knowledge, gave man knowledge, which knowledge in turn turned into science. And you see what science has got us thus far, because we're going to talk about the CERN machine in a few minutes, and you can imagine what's going on over there. So it's just what happened.
They just turned that thing back on last week.
What you think about it?
Oh man, I really just tried to stay away from it because that's one of those things
the
earth, the earth and all that kind of stuff, right? Once you start to realize oh wow, is this all, is this not what they told? It gives you power, right? But whenever you look at the CERN thing and you start seeing Mandela effects in your own life, you're like, oh, okay, all right, well, this is terrifying because the Monopoly man, he always had a monocle. I don't care what anybody said, he had a monocle, and now all of a sudden he doesn't. The Coca-Cola, the dash in between, the dash is always in the middle, but now it's at the top.
What's wrong with someone updating their logo or changing
Statue
their
of Liberty?
What's wrong with someone updating now? Statue of Liberty, that's one thing. So
that location,
but what's wrong with someone updating their logo in 10, 15 years? For example, if you have a logo, let's just say if your logo is a man with shades on, but you don't tell nobody in 10 to 8 years, you may just put a pink-eyed man on there. Somebody's like, well, I know 10 years ago he had shades on. So that's one thing I don't get about the Mandela effect. What's wrong with them changing it up?
But you would come out and
hold on, let him say
it, right?
No, I
would. Go on eBay right now and try and look up a Coca-Cola machine from the 50s or something. You know what I mean? The old the old machines, and the dash is at the top. That's what I'm saying. Because I was the same way. I was they could change everything on the internet just to start to kind of confuse people and, push people, any picture or whatever, scrub that and put it but if you start looking at these authentic items people are paying $25,000 for, you know what I mean? I don't know, as these are all just bogus numbers, but an authentic vintage Coca-Cola, whatever, the dash is at the top.
But what's wrong with it being moved? That's just what I don't get about it. What's wrong? Even if let's just say if it is at the top and then now it's in the middle.
Remember it different.
But that's the whole But that's the point of the generational shift, right? So they at one point their logo probably was that. Now 20 years later, we don't want it at the top anymore. We want to hear why is that the Mandela effect? You see what I mean?
I think it's kind of, but I think so the same thing with the monocle, or what was the guy that would come up to your house with the big check and you won a bunch of money. It was back on the commercials back in the day. Supposedly that guy isn't a part of that anymore either. It's not the fact that it's changed, it's the fact that all of us are remembering something completely different, which is where our realities, if there are infinite realities, any and all.
So you're saying basically say all of us lived in the 50s, but you remember the dash being at the top, we remember the dash being in the middle.
Right. Well, I guess all that kind of started after 2012. This wasn't really a thing until until they turned on
CERN machine
they did with the Higgs. But I think it's been on because I've seen things about a CERN or a particle collider here in Colorado in Colorado Springs. I can't validate any of this, but I did read a decent bit about it. But supposedly they opened some type of portal down there and something bad came through and they filled up that whole thing with cement. It's a deep underground whatever, and they filled up the whole thing with cement because of something that came through.
You saying Colorado?
Yeah, in Colorado Springs, because that was one of the first places they had these particle colliders.
Well, that's what they also said. The big thing about Area 51 is because they said a long time ago with Alexander Crowley and all that, a portal was open at Area 51. Right. And they say Alex was pretty good at opening and closing portals. However, when he died, the other two gentlemen, they weren't as good as he was opening and closing the portals. And that's when the entities came through. And then in what was that, 48 and 49, people were saying, oh, we're seeing aliens now. If those were alien sightings, you get what I mean?
Right. And I don't believe in aliens. I mean, I believe in aliens. I don't believe in extraterrestrials. I believe in interdimensional beings. I don't believe in I don't believe like that'd be the dumbest way to travel through space, light years and light years through this like metal machine. Like, why wouldn't you just like? I think your brain is strong enough to put you in different places. Like I honestly do. I think that's part of the Mandela effect as well. Like we are these organic quantum computers that are, like we are so powerful, and the fact that we've been dumbed down to the way we have been, like that makes us even more dangerous. Because something that I've noticed, you think about affirmations and all the like, oh, think positive and this and that, and now think about like movies. All the movies we watched growing up, we are basically living that right now, as if they had like primed us for this reality. Like Terminator, Matrix, all of these movies that you see coming out now. It's almost like it's the real. We're living it.
Have you created that? Have you saw the movie 1984?
No, I've read through the book a good bit. George Orwell. I haven't watched the movie.
Oh yeah, so I was watching that movie, and basically, it was a total authoritarian state, totalitarianism that they had. Mm-hmm. But every day they would get rid of the history. Like people would work in these, like they would have to get rid of the newspapers because that's the only how people got their information. You know what I mean? Right. So every day or every other day, people's job was to like shred all of that history. You know what I mean? So. Right. It's like they were creating.
Done that here too.
Yeah, and they're doing it now. In fact, it's easier for them to change history because of social media and technology. They can create their own narrative now. Mm-hmm. Even if you look at the civil rights movement, they did extremely good with using black and white pictures only. When for sure there were colored cameras, colored pictures, but every time you look at the civil rights movement or something back, psychologically they want you to think it was so ancient, so long ago, but they don't show you that a lot of the civil rights figures had colored pictures, but they don't want you to make that connection with it like that. But they're really good at what they do, man.
Oh man, for sure. It's all a magic trick. It's the same thing with the Hollywood, But what did wizards and witches use for their wands? They'd use the Hollywood tree, right? And now you look, you got Mickey Mouse, this little thing and all that. It's just like, y'all got Hollywood, y'all got cast members, y'all are casting spells left and right. Like it's just, I don't know.
So they got cast members. They cast the spells. Yeah, right. They put it in music. Like what? Some songs that you play backwards. It says Lucifer's coming.
Right.
Yeah. He's on his way back.
Oh yeah.
Which I mean, I think music is a it's definitely got it's got a scary side to it because I've been possessed by music. I don't know if that's the best word to say. Yeah, I've gone to a trance show on LSD one time, and I remember I spun.
Hold on, trance like sexual trance, like people up there.
Possessive state trance.
Oh, I thought you was into some different things.
No.
Okay.
I don't get down with the sex magic. That's so scary.
Okay.
But like trance is like it's fast. I typically don't like that kind of music, but I was there with some friends, is whatever. But it's like, it's a really fast pace. But I got hypnotized. I was completely hypnotized. I left. I was like, I don't want none of this devil shit. Y'all get this. I don't want nothing to do with none of this. But music is that way, and I think they've always used music to transcend minds or hypnotize them in order to, either convince them of a way of thinking or, I think they're doing that with music now. Look how horrible the music is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds like Sesame Street. It's like you see all these kids that got raised on Sesame Street and now go watch them, go listen to them rap. You could put a Sesame Street beat over there, put the little bouncing butterfly and put the rap lyrics to whoever the hell. And it's like, damn, all right, well, that's how that happened.
Yeah.
It's all about the music. That's what gets to you first. Having nobody ever committed a robbery in history without listening to some music. If they doing a drive-by, they listen to some music. They gotta get their mind. They gotta hit the.
It's the devil's. That's just
hit the weed and listen to listen to some trapper die. Listen to some Plies.
Even Bush back in the day. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, so the Plies will have you robbing somebody. That's all I'm saying.
Go get his cookie.
Yeah, Plies and Chief Keef will definitely have you running in somebody.
Now all these rappers, they gangsters and killers. So
Plies, is it Plies from Memphis?
He's from Florida.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of Yo Gotti.
Oh yeah. Yo Gotti's
listening to Yo Gotti, you want to sell some more
Memphis music.
Yeah, cocaine music.
Hey.
So this is all good information, by the way. Like you are, and
no, I'm enjoying talking to you guys.
Are you? So do you have a lot of? Do you have a lot of friends, or your circle? Do they think you're out there, or do they agree with you?
Yeah, before COVID, I was pretty silent on a lot of these topics, and with COVID, all my friends now, it's like we're rocket power, right? Like we do all the stuff. We snowboard, we do, go eat some mushrooms and go mountain biking. We do all the things, longboarding, anything that is extreme. Like I said, we're like the rocket power crew. And so all of this stuff, like, we would go to a show or something like that. And when, at the end of the night, we might have some wild conversations. But since COVID, I'm trying to wake these fools up and they will not wake up. Like, so I've been hanging out by myself a lot more. But I have, internet friends, I guess you'd say. Like there's, some of my friends growing up have found my TikTok, because I try not to keep anybody I know on my TikTok because of all the topics I talk about. I'm a pretty normal person on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff. I just don't, I don't even mess with Facebook, to be honest. But on Instagram, I just kind of post, my mountain life or whatever. But on my TikTok, I'm like, I'm just like, I'm just hitting it all. I'm getting banned every couple of weeks. Like, so I've felt a lot of my connection not coming from my friends as much, and more so coming from having these types of conversations one-on-one with people that like I haven't had the time to actually hang out with in person. So that's kind of, that's where I've been with that, because there's a lot of people you can talk to, but there's a lot of people you can't face to face, and I like those people that I can find at a party or whatever, and on the slopes, and we can just sit there and talk for 4 hours about whatever the hell it is. Like the guy that does my tattoos, him and I, we go through all of it, and it's having open-minded people, and he probably doesn't believe half the stuff. I don't believe half the stuff he's saying either, but we're not getting mad at each other because of what one another's saying. It's like having a healthy conversation is one of the most important things, and I feel like that's been the most demonized thing in the last 2.5 years than anything. You can't talk about. I mean, you could even look at that going back. They were demonizing things and like setting things up. Y'all remember the measles outbreak back in like 2017, where they're like talking crap on anti-vaxxer moms and stuff, and it's like, damn, y'all been setting this up for a minute. Like it's just crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
It makes me want to look into the polio outbreak.
Well, yeah, and then polio, smallpox, polio, all that stuff, that's been linked
and
up with electromagnetic pollution whenever it comes to like 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G. They almost every single one of those link up with the pandemic. So what do I know? Like you try and tell people about that. I mean, you could find, I actually have I screenshotted it in case they took it off. But it's the NIH, like the Fauci's whole thing, has an article on 5G causing human cells to produce corona virus-like exomes. So it's like your body, like I don't know if you know about terrain theory versus germ theory and all that, but like yeah, like there's an article on that, and I think people should really check that out. I get banned.
Yeah, why do you think?
For putting that up.
Why do you think the CDC dropped the zombie prepared list type of thing?
That's a wild one too. Okay, all right. So this is what I think. So you can have so I don't know if you guys have seen the prion things whenever it comes to the COVID vaccine. Like I guess they're like loose proteins that accumulate in the body, and it creates like a prion disease, which they crystallize. And so I've seen things where people have said that the prions will accumulate in certain areas of the brain, and then they can use frequencies in order to control people. So like that would be like prions disease in general is mad cow disease. So are people going to be going nuts and like crazy, and then some of them are going to be able to be controlled by the frequencies from the crystals that have accumulated in their brain? I don't know, but I think that's super sketchy. And they're like, oh yeah, it's just because of what they say is that zombie show that was big.
Yeah.
Well, Amazon has released something like that too.
Walking Dead.
Right. No, I made a thing about that on my first TikTok account, talking about how it's in their terms and services agreement.
Yeah, and Amazon, yeah, they got the same zombie stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Why would they put that in there?
Right. And it's what's a zombie outbreak? Well, like, who's gonna still be following the laws though? You know what I mean? Like, who's gonna be like, hold on, zombies, like, here, I got this paperwork. You guys all signed it through your Amazon thing, but y'all can't come in here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what do the legalities even mean in that type of situation?
But it just means you can't come into this FEMA camp. That's all.
And then if you think about it, like you were saying, how the movies and all that are getting us prepared, like Matrix and all types of stuff. But then you think about it, we've been having a lot of Walking Dead movies, a lot of zombie movies.
Mm-hmm. End of the world shit. Don't look up.
Hey.
Yeah, and you know, it's a lot when it comes to most of the stuff that we're talking about. Like, most people don't even dive that deep into it, and it's not that serious to them. So there's a lot of different things that people get into, especially like when we're talking about, like, things like the CERN and everything like that, everything involved. A lot of people don't get into all of that stuff because it's not really that, it's not really that, hip to them, or it's not really that, interesting to them, like you said, like with them,
how it's not.
Like when you're talking about the CERN machine with them turning it back on, a lot of people focus on the Mandela effect, and you got to know, the devil's the master of, deception. So while everyone's focused on the Mandela effect, it's just a simple thing. Like, hey, they intend to go full speed with this thing. If you actually go to their website and read the article that they put out, what they're trying to do with it, they're actually trying to do some things. Like, they're not playing with it anymore. It's not a game. No. This is gonna, explode. No. So you're going to have a Big Bang Theory. And after we're done with that, then we'll see what's going on after that. And that's what they're looking for. Right. But a lot of people tend to focus on the Mandela effect, because like you said, it's an interesting theory. But as Myra said, it really doesn't mean anything. It really is just a bunch of nothing, truthfully. Yeah. As you said, confusion, because that's what he needs you to do. He needs us to be confused and be distracted while he does what he wants to do, working on his natural plan. I got a question for you, though. I did see a video you did when you said there were planes flying into the clouds creating snow. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, no. So Colorado in the last 2 years, they've been spraying like crazy. I've always known about chemtrails, and so until COVID, and I started really seeing them going everywhere. I didn't really look into it, but one thing I will tell everybody to look into is geoengineering.org. Those dudes, a bunch of scientists on there, and they're taking soil samples at the top of Mount Shasta, like, finding all this barium, strontium, lithium, all of those things. But what I'm talking about here is, all right, you can, too bad they're not spraying today, but they'll spray, and then this, it comes out like a regular chemtrail, and then it spreads out, right? And those will accumulate into like a big, like fuzzy kind of cloud. And then you can see these lines through them as if they're blasting them with frequency waves. Like if you have like a little kiddie pool, right? You got a speaker, you blast sounds at that thing, it's going to create waves. That's how you would move that kind of stuff, along with dumping heavy metal particulates and using lasers to heat up a certain area of a cloud to create an updraft to move weather around, and all that stuff. People are so, uninformed, and they don't care, because they'll sit there. Any of those videos, you got people on there being like, oh yeah, blah, that's all fake. And it's like, they're all just talking about it now. Like, it's not a conspiracy. You can find it on CNN too. If you're a CNN person, you go on there, you can find it on Fox. If you're a Fox person, like, you can find it on everything. So, I mean, we were, they had Dr. Michio Kaku on CNN or maybe it was MSNBC, talking about how we used HARP and all that stuff to flush out all the Vietnamese in the Vietnam War. Like, that's why the monsoons were happening. Dubai they just did weather manipulation so they could hold whatever the hell it was, or maybe that was China for the Olympics.
No, they made it rain.
Yeah, they need to make it rain.
Yeah. So,
and then someone else just did it. Weather modification. I forgot who it was.
Right. China has their own sun.
So now it's going to be weather wars the same way. It's biomechanical wars, whether it's nanotech or whatever. It's going to be weather wars. Guys, I think you guys know as much as I do. This is the end times. Like, Jesus will be back any day now. Like, this is the end times. In my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, with the technology that they have, what you'll learn in the Book of Enoch, I have never finished it either, but what I've gathered, because I read about halfway through it thus far, is that there were seals and everything like that put onto the world, just like, in the beginning, out of darkness, let there be light. Well, he did something with that darkness, and there's a reason for the light. So if you've done anything, you've done your CERN research, I'm sure you've heard of antimatter, stuff like that, things like that. So, and Stephen Hawking said, stuff like this could destroy the universe. So, if they could turn, the whole point of them turning the machine on when they just did was just to turn it on to see if everything worked. But when they turn it on again, they're intending to run a full-fledged experiment. Well, what if it backfires? A backfire in this machine could be the end of the world.
Right. And they said that already happened in 2012. Like that last video I posted talking about that, saying, that there was, I've seen the video and I looked all day yesterday, couldn't find the video, but they've apologized. CERN apologized for destroying the world in 2012. They said, we're sorry, like, you seeing all these crazy things, it's because we destroyed the timeline. And then whenever you look at Operation Looking Glass, every single outcome became the same after 2012. Look at the Mayans. The Mayans, their calendar ended at 2012. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, that is terrifying. But like Elon was saying, right? He said, beware of those who worship AI gods. That is CERN. Like CERN, they got the statue of Shiva outside of there. They do like seances in front of it. Like, I don't know if you saw that, like the weird sacrificial crap.
Yeah,
like
the dance they were doing.
Are the people. Right. And I don't really think Elon's a good guy either. I think his family's been tied up in a bunch of weird crap. But, I think bad comes in different forms. I don't think he's totally bad. I'm bad in some types of ways. You know what I mean? So
yeah, all of sin and fall short of the glory of God. So,
right.
Everybody
so
got bad.
Like, is he warning us? Is he warning us about this? Is he like, yo, like, be careful, these CERN people, I'm just trying to put brain chips in you. These dudes are open portals.
He said, I'm just trying to put brain chips in you.
So let's stick on that. Let's stick on that topic right there. Where do you stand on Elon buying Twitter and the whole social credit score situation that people believe he's going to institute if he does buy Twitter?
Well, I mean, he did buy it, didn't he? That's the thing.
He bought it. It's official.
Yeah, he bought it.
Okay. So where do you stand on that?
I think that has to do with creating an internet ID. So he wants to get rid of all the fake accounts, the bot accounts, all that jazz. And so what he's going to do is he's going to have you get an internet ID, and that internet ID is already what they're rolling out in China. It's so you won't be able to get on the internet without the government knowing exactly who you are, what you are, all the stuff you've researched, this and that. So I think that is going to be what he is doing. I think he's just as much, controlled opposition as Trump was, or anybody like that. Anybody in the limelight, like, they are there for a reason,
And people will accept it because it's Elon. They'll accept the internet ID. Right. Elon's smarter than everybody. He knows what he's doing. You don't know what Elon knows,
Just imagine what he can do with Twitter. Look, you already know how he thinks. Just imagine the kind of robotic, futuristic changes or stuff that he's going to start introducing to Twitter, probably.
Well, and they say he's got Asperger's. I think old boy's hooked up to the internet. All right. Like, he ain't got no Asperger's. Like, they're like, yo, he's weird. Let's just say he's got Asperger's because he's hooked up to the internet. He's got a brain chip in. Like, you see that guy, he gets asked a question. He's like, and he's like, here's your really good answer. Like, all right. I don't know about you.
Well, when it comes out, you going to get the brain chip?
Hell no. I ain't taking no shots. I ain't taking no brain chips. I'm going to eat food, water, and pray to God. That's about it. That's all I got plans for. I'm going to talk to people, try to open their eyes. That's it. I'm not taking none of this technology and none of this crazy No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, so if God came today and he was to judge you, do you think as you are now, would you go to heaven or hell?
I don't know. It's a really good question, man. I was a horrible kid. Like I said, I kicked out of every school I ever went to. I was quick to punch somebody in the face. I was quick to sell anything I could to make money off of it. I did horrible things. So, I don't know.
Everything you just said was past tense, though.
Just past it, yeah. That's the reason Jesus died on the cross.
Yeah, did, everything like that.
I'm speaking on right now, the person you are today. After all those experiences, you're a different man today. Do you think you're going to heaven now?
I think so, yeah. Not in a conceited type of way at all, but I would hope so. I think so.
Dez and Myra tell you. I tell people, we talk about it all the time. I tell them, I say, if Jesus or the Lord was to come back today, he'd probably only be taking back about 5 to 10% of the world with everybody else going in.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
So you don't supposed to, you don't supposed to be smoking weed, right?
So I guess I mean
that's one of his problems. That's one of his problems too.
Yeah,
you know, he have to, you know,
absolutely.
Come on now, you know, that ain't what the Lord. Right. Come on now.
But then again,
I'm not taking care of the vessel that he gave me in order to follow out. I can't fulfill the mission that he gave me if I don't have enough time to fulfill it. And yes, we're all on a timeline, but if I don't take care of the vessel that I'm in, then I can shorten my own timeline. You know what I'm saying?
No, so I agree. And you know, what is it? Genesis 1:12, I want to say, where it says all seed bearing plants I give to you. So, you know, like, so why would he put this? Is the stuff put here as a temptation?
But you use it in a different way. Like,
well, you know, people use it as oils and, you know, stuff like that.
I mean, but you also got poison ivy here too. You got all kinds of stuff here. We're not, right. You know what I mean? People misuse people. And I was a victim of it too. You know, people misuse things as well. You know, there's a lot of, you know, you got cocaine. What is it called that grows?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's for pain. That, like,
you know, it's all types of stuff that.
So it's the same thing like drinking wine versus getting drunk.
Right. It can all be used in a productive type of way. And I think I commented on one of the videos you guys have posted on your TikTok about drugs. I think all of those things can be used in a certain type of way. I think abusing absolutely, you know, anything is horrible, and that's not what God wants you to do. But I also don't really think that God wants you to sustain from everything.
No, you can drink wine. Wine is in the Bible. Like, you can drink wine, and you know, for pain, like, you know, but you saying, you know, smoking it, you know, you know, people get addicted to that. That was just, you don't supposed to do it except be sober minded. So anything outside of, you know, in the Bible, they drank wine, and Jesus drank wine, and, you know, he had no problem with that.
Would sober-minded be sober-minded as in, like, you could have fun at times, or is it sober-minded you're straight, never doing anything ever, you know, blah blah blah?
But I'm just saying, like, outside of the Bible, like, it in there it speaks about people, you know, taking, you know, drinking wine. It doesn't say, you know, when God said be sober-minded, he was thinking about, you know, drugs. He was thinking about, you know, smoking up the weed, the cocaine, all these pills and stuff like that.
So, the alcohol, the liquor.
The liquor, for sure.
Yeah. I think all of it. I think even sex, you know, even that. You know,
as long as hold on now. Sex, if you're married, is have a ball.
No, but I mean, you could also, you know, rub yourself raw over there, just you know, smashing too much because you're addicted to it, right?
I mean, if it's your wife, you can smash as much as you want to. You want flesh.
Right, but what if you
enjoy?
But what if you're hurting? What if you're hurting yourself because of your addiction and the fact that you want to keep going? Now y'all both raw, and she's hurting, but your sexual drive, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're gonna keep pushing it. That's the addiction thing I'm saying. I guess
because people do have sexual addiction, so that is real. That's real
addiction to your wife.
Because he's saying, what if you're on a nympho type of status where you're trying to get it 4 times a day, and she's good after 2. Like,
okay, if what I'm gonna do, right? If she's good after 2, I want.
But he's saying you still feel that urge for the other 2. What you gonna do about it? You gonna go?
I'm gonna chill
or something.
I'm gonna chill.
You gonna go chill, but most people won't.
Okay, then okay, if he won't, then what is he gonna do?
He gonna rub it out or go searching.
Okay, so therefore he's sinful. So therefore he's not a follower of Jesus Christ anyway.
That's the point. That's what
I mean, look, that's what I'm saying. But it's people that's married that's still sinful. You know, don't get it twisted. Like, it's you know, all of sin and fall short. So there's a lot of brothers out here that's married and cheating. You know, committing adultery. So you know what I'm saying. So but it's just you know, if you're a true follower, you can have sex. You can wanna. Go ahead.
I was just saying, it comes, you know, the addiction comes in different ways. It doesn't matter if you're drinking soda every day, or you're having too much sex, or you're doing whatever. Like, it's all of that. And I think that is the sober-minded that God is talking about. It's like, if you're sitting there worshiping sports or something, you're doing this. You're doing that. True. Yeah. That's 100%. Because you love the sports more than you love God, and that's fact. Right. A lot of people can tell you every play on a basketball or football team, but they can't tell you nobody in the Bible. So you're gonna go to hell for that too, right? Because you get your own guy. You get to choose, you know, what you value most in your life. Well, in a lack of God, you will create God because of your VMAT2 gene, like the VMAT2 gene, which is why they're trying to shove these shots in everybody's arms. There's Bill Gates talking about that shit, but it's like it's the you are programmed to believe in God. And if you do not believe in God, you will worship something as if it was God, no matter if that's a sport, no matter if that's a actor, no matter if that's whatever. And that's what God is talking about, because people are getting so confused and they're getting so broken away from God and don't even feel the need to research or, to look into it, because they're getting their supposed satisfaction through this media, through through all of those other things that you should not be worshiping. Like, look at science. It's a literal religion. Like these people are following something that none of them can prove, as if Fauci is a priest. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's why.
I mean, technically he is to them, though.
That's true. Science is
right. They've broken God away from these people, and now you see the outcome. People are worshiping anything that somebody in authoritative or like an authoritative figure presented to them. They're just going to follow it.
I mean, I think I think they've broken away from it. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But as they say, like I said, Einstein has a great quote where he says, "The deeper I dig into science, the closer I come to God." It seems like every time science tries to stray away from basically the Bible or from God himself, they seem to run head full, straight into him. Versus, something.
But the people, though, is But the people is who is not getting to see the scientists. They may say, "Hey, oh yeah, we believe that there's everything we're doing is proving there's a God." But the people that's following science, they're going just strictly off the whatever experiments or the astrology. The Earth is 66,000. They're going what the scientists present to them. The scientists is not going out making a public speech telling people like, "Yo, guess what? We want everybody to know that we have discovered that this particle leads to God," or "we cannot prove." Right. No, they're going to keep giving you hypotheses and experiments after experiments to keep feeding that same religion. Like you said, science is religion, to keep people following it. They don't want people not to follow science. They need you. They don't even want you looking at God.
Well, that's why if you look up that VMAT2 thing, that VMAT2, when they discovered that in 2004, that was just they were just like, great. Well, I mean, there is a programming in our DNA to believe in God. So like that is, it's the same as like the Fibonacci sequence. Like it's the thumbprint of God. It's the artistic stroke of a creator. Like and the Fibonacci sequence is in almost everything. Like your thoughts, like the way you think, your current thought is a product of your two previous thoughts, right? Like the same thing right here, this and this equal that. Like it goes all the way through your body. Like it's all like this. You can't deny God. Like there is no denying that. Like this is not chaos. This is creation.
Are you married, sir?
No. I actually just broke up with a chick, or we broke up because yeah, dude, she likes the COVID stuff now. It's crazy. She wouldn't like that off the jump, and then she got sick, and things got a little different. Started wearing the mask, started acting all weird. Had like 5 periods in a month, and yeah, we broke up. She acted completely different. But I've got a girl I'm talking to now, actually. So she lets me go on my rants. She lets me act crazy, so that's cool.
There you go.
Because that's the hard part too, man, is finding girls out here that you're able to, be yourself, especially like, with the whole political thing, and then you got the science thing, and then you got the flat earth shit. You got all these things where it's like, man, you're gonna have to really be searching for somebody who's gonna fit all of that. And the person I'm talking to now, she fits that, so that's good.
No, that's good.
With a crazy person real quick, because the people that believe this kind of stuff, if you don't have a structuralized way of looking at this stuff, you are going to be crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and you ain't gonna be the good crazy. Like the rest of these people that are all crazy, they're all crazy, but they're all crazy together. So it's like, it's like they're not that crazy since everybody's crazy with them. Walking around wearing the mask, doing the whatever. They got their COVID butt plug in. Like they're just doing it all. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean,
crazy.
So right. Do you think so? You don't think the Earth is flat or round, correct? Or
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's up to the perceive, like the observer. If a tree falls in the woods and no one's around, does it make a sound? It's the same question whenever you look at that. The same way I was talking about the, CJ from San Andreas. Like, what if he turned around and like talked to somebody who was like, "Is this thing round?" No, I don't think. It's on a microchip, like, or it's on a CD, like, it's it as above, so below. Like it's right there. You could look at the Aztec temples and all that stuff. You could line them up with memory chips out of a computer. It looks exactly the same. Like it is the same. This is a simulation, in my opinion. It's a soul washing machine where God sends us here to clean us. And I think you can stay dirty and you stay down here, or you ascend, like you discover Christ, you discover all these things, you actually live through God and you ascend. But the people that don't, like, I know that goes against a lot of, Christian beliefs about, heaven and hell. But I kind of think there is a reincarnation process. I don't think God just throws away, what about the African tribes that never had a chance to believe in God? Do you think he gets thrown away? That's a big argument me and my mom get into all the time.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, he writes it on your heart as well. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That, and when you say they never had a chance to believe in God, it's not that they didn't have a chance to believe in God. They just believed in something else. It's not like they're going on believe lists, like faith lists. They believe in something. It's just not the Lord that we believe in, but they have something they believe in.
So do they get sent to hell because of that?
They were worshiping. Absolutely. They were worshiping evil people.
Yeah, a lot of them. What is it?
You're reading the book. You're about to learn
voodoo, witchcraft, black magic, Baal, all types.
I'm not saying like, because I guess there could be two different sides of this. Like, if I'm not saying that these tribe people are horrible people. Like, what if they're connected to the earth? They're respectful of absolutely everything. They're not sacrificing things, and they believe in good.
But you don't believe in God, though.
Yeah.
What are you worshiping? Who are you praying to? Who do you know what I mean? You don't believe in God.
But if they never had a chance, why would God just throw them away?
But that's what I'm saying. You keep saying they never had a chance. Everyone has a chance.
No, but like, what if they live on some island? Like, you remember that minister that went out there to that island? He got speared to death.
Yeah.
Trying to talk. Yeah. So say not those people. Obviously, those people are not too good. But like some, another area, down in the Amazon or something. Like, they're completely broken off. They've never seen, modern people or something. Is like what is that?
Okay, Hebrews 10 verse 16. This is the covenant I will make with them. After that time, says the Lord, I will put my laws in their heart, and I will write them on their mind. So therefore, he will put it in your heart and write it in your mind. So if you truly are a follower of God, not necessarily like for what you would say, he's not worshiping God, but if you never came across someone talking about, giving you talking about Jesus Christ, or giving you the Bible to read it, you can't even read it or whatever, you put it in your heart and on your mind, so you still know all the 10 commandments, even though you have never heard someone say the 10 commandments. We know not to rob nobody, we know not to kill nobody, we know if we get married, they still get married, depending on what tribe, they still have wives that they have cows and stuff, we know not to commit adultery, we know not to go out here and have sex with somebody else from the different tribes or whatever. And so you still can follow the commandments without knowing them.
Right. No, and I agree with that completely. And so that's what I was kind of saying. Like, it could be separated in two different things. Like the people that threw the spears at that guy and killed that guy, those are not the people I'm talking about. But like the people in another area that haven't had the opportunity, but they are, they have been instilled with those values and traits of the 10 commandments. But they do not call him Jesus because they've never heard that name.
Yeah.
I don't think God throws them away.
No, I don't either. No, as long as they follow what they inherently know. No, but if you out here, if you in the tribe and you kill somebody in the tribe, you're going to hell. If you're a bad person, eating other people's food and taking away, whatever. Yeah, you want to hell.
I completely agree.
And I think in the Bible it says he won't come back until Jesus is known on the four corners of the earth or something like that. I believe that to be true.
He will bring the children of Israel from the four corners of earth and take them back into the land.
But I know the people, it's supposed to be apostles that go to areas. But okay.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good question, though.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good one. I'm glad that we disagreed and then we all came to an agreement.
He writes it on your heart, man. You ain't gonna have no excuse before midnight. I ain't giving you no excuse.
No. Yeah. No, it didn't. Yeah, no, it's
certain things you just innately know, and
it
is in the Bible. It is in the Bible where he said, you can have the laws and principles and everything like that. You can know the commandments and still not be living it.
Mm-hmm. Right, and then that's even worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that's even worse.
So moving forward, where do you think, like in your opinion, where do you think the times that we are headed to, as far as like again, Elon Musk on Twitter, you know, all
war going on,
the war, all this robotic stuff, inflation, countries literally are going or starting to rise up against their leaders. What is it in Shankara? Am I pronouncing that right? I think it's Shankara. They are trying to remove their president because of the food shortage. There's no food. Gas is extremely out the roof.
Yeah.
And so they're having revolt over there. You know what I mean? You see what's going over in China.
That's about to happen everywhere. That's about to happen everywhere. This, in my opinion, this is to destroy the third world, kill them, take them out, and the first world will become the third world. Because whenever you have hungry, starving people with absolutely nothing, that's how you control people. Look at Stalin, look at, Hitler, look at all of those people. I don't know if you guys saw this, you probably did if you were on TikTok at the beginning of COVID and all this, that farmers were being incentivized to destroy crops all around America and Canada and all over. So this is, it takes 12 to 18 months for any type of like food shortage to happen. So, they've been doing that for the last 2 years. Like I think the Nazis never lost the war, and they have been spread out, and over the last 100 years have been formulating this thing in order to take over the world. And we are living in it right now. Like the Yuval Noah Harari guy, like you look at him, he's like the transhumanist, like right hand man of Klaus Schwab and all that jazz. Like what is about to happen is about to be the scariest thing I think any of us have ever experienced. I got my storable food, I got my guns, I got bows, I got arrows, I even got a BB gun for short, for small game. I got I'm prepared.
Absolutely.
I got water, I got absolutely, I got enough for me, her, and my dog to last 16 months.
So let's talk about this real fast while we're on this subject, because I think people definitely need to hear this. Let's put it like this. What would a basic supply kit entail? What would it inquire?
So I started off with 25-pound bags of rice.
Okay.
I have about 100 pounds of rice. I've got about 50 pounds of beans, different kinds of beans. I got about 20 pounds of lentils. I started, now that I have kind of all my basic stuff, which then you need to get you some Culligan's water jugs, start filling those things up. Any gallons, like water, jugs that you use, fill those up, store them. And at this point right now, I'm kind of getting some of the stuff that's going to be comfort, because now I have all my basic stuff that's going to keep me alive. Now I'm getting like some gravy packets, some some spice packets, some I don't eat candy, but I throw some candy up in there, like, you know what I mean? Just as if things are going bad, it wouldn't be nice to have a little bit of candy. But starting off and getting your food and your water, and make sure you have enough to last yourself 8 months. The reason why I got 16 months is because that girl had dipped out, and I had enough for her dog and her, so I just doubled up. So yeah. And making sure you have something to defend yourself, whether that's a gun, whether it's a knife, whether it's a sword or a ninja star. I don't care what it is, you need something.
Because they're going to be coming. They're coming.
Oh, yeah. And that's the time that's going to, you're going to be challenged. And I've told people that a million times. I'm like, what if these motherfuckers come knock at your door? All right, you got your kids inside. They're going to try and take you to some camp. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, that is the real crunch time, right? Like, that's where the boys and the men get separated. Are you about to kill these people and everybody's going to die? Or are you going to go, jolly along to the FEMA camp with the rest?
Yeah, I've been preparing for camp for a while. Myron Desi will tell you, I've been preparing for camp for a while. I've tried to.
There's gonna be people running in the streets.
I think that's the true apocalypse.
As soon as they start tripping, it's gonna be martial law. As soon as people start running in buildings, martial law. Okay, now we gotta go run.
I think that's the true zombie apocalypse. I don't think it's gonna be literally dead people walking around, but I think that's just a metaphor
starvation
of what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Hungry,
it is gonna be.
That's it.
Think if there was a food shortage next week, it would be a zombie apocalypse. Yeah. People would be everywhere, scouring stores. They ain't waiting in line or nothing like that. They running in the nearest Walmart, grabbing whatever. They running into McDonald's getting the frozen food at that point. It's a shortage.
Well, and stay out of cities, and having your food and all that shit's important, but getting out of the city. Like, I live up here in the hills, man. Like I got all, it wasn't that hard. Just getting away, and I still feel a little uncomfortable being here, to be honest. I want to get a little further out. because this is going to be the first place people coming out of that city down there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now, I've already got on what is that, Zillow? I got all these houses up here mapped out, like because I got a small house right here. It's an old 120-year-old cabin, but these multi-million-dollar houses up here, you just Zillow the houses that are for sale in your area. If shit does go down, you just go kick in that door. You're gonna stay. You be living like a multi-millionaire until they kick you out. But,
Okay.
Some of them houses got underground bunkers and whatnot. You know, you might come up.
That's a little gem right
That's
there.
smart.
That's a gem right there.
There's actually a website. I forget the name of it. There is a website that shows you a lot of underground bunkers in your area.
Okay.
It shows you the underground bunkers that have been built in your area because that company tracks their bunkers that they put out in production.
Really? That's wild. See, that's a good one too. See, yeah, I'm putting both of those things together so like, because I don't think roads are going to be working. I don't think people are going, well, I'm going to go back home to wherever. Yeah, right. You're going to get stuck on the road with all these other people stuck on the road. Now you're going to get real robbed.
Yeah,
like,
I was.
So you can't hit the highway, huh? That's the first place everybody's going.
Yeah, I've been on this truck jig
right now just for it.
Yeah, I've been on this truck jig lately about, and at first it started off with me wanting the Jeep, the Jeep pickup truck. Cause I'm like, that thing can do some damage off road, but it can still tow. That's an ultimate weapon during, I'm like, there you go. And that's what I've been telling Dez, get you them Rams. I need something that's going to get me off the road and that can tow some just in case I have to carry some.
Man, you're going to be driving and run out of gas.
As you said, though.
Well,
Absolutely. And like he said, a dirt bike. And to be honest with you, that's why, right now, I think the ultimate vehicle, if it actually does come out, that truck that Elon Musk was talking about, I think that would be something crazy. But I don't know.
But he can cut off the electric.
Yeah, he can turn it. Well, all electric vehicles could get shut down.
Can we just say when it hit the fan, man, it's over?
Yeah, long story short.
So
that's why I said
you're gonna run out of gas.
I'm prepared for camping and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? And if it all goes down,
out of food
and
eventually.
I have to take one between the forehead and get up out of here, hopefully I've done the best I can do. And me and the man upstairs have made that pact that here I come.
I'll be dying on my feet, not on my knees. I'll tell you that right now.
That's why I said hopefully we made a pact that
you gotta go out. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Because it's gonna be real when they come to you and they say, Elon said take the chip or not. Take the chip or die.
Dang, you gonna put him in the place of the Antichrist?
Take the chip or die.
Oh,
I ain't saying you.
I'm Elon like that.
Elon built the chip, and the government takes Elon's chips and says, "Take the chip or die." What you gonna do?
Well, I don't think the chip is gonna be.
Who's the biggest military contractor in the U.S.?
Elon.
The military. Elon is.
Yes.
Yeah.
He been stealing contracts from Boeing.
Ooh.
Yeah. He's the biggest military contractor. He's a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing with like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos his grandfather started DARPA.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, they show him that picture where he's in the office, all stacked paper. Like, one day you could work hard enough, you'd be just like him. You'd be billionaires and all this. Yeah, right. Look at his family. No, look at Elon's family. They're the biggest gem, miners in South Africa. Like, no. That ain't the way that works. It ain't. I'm
right.
sorry. It's just not. You know what I mean? Like, if you're down here in the bottom of the bucket with the rest of us, you ain't coming out of here. There ain't no, elbow grease gonna get you through this. Like, you can make you some money, sure, but the Elon and the Jeff Bezos money, that ain't. That's
that money is set in stone. That comes from a bloodline of money. Like the Nephilim, the Midas touch. Wherever they go, that touch. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about right now. So, it's a succession that goes from bloodline to bloodline. It just carries on through generations and generations. It doesn't change for them.
Nope.
They don't have
the Rothschilds and all of them, they've had that set up, and I've
interbreeding and stuff like that.
Right. Like, is this interbreeding a way of keeping their souls inside of whatever, inside of that bloodline of some sort?
Yeah, they want
to keep the bloodline as pure as possible,
Right. And then, do you know why the Jews have been like so persecuted against forever? It's because they were actually, so like in the Bible, it always said, in most religions, it says that you cannot loan money at an interest rate, because when you loan money at an interest rate, it enslaves the person, right? Look at us right now. I got a truck note on that thing. I got, all types of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm indebted to this.
Student loans and everything.
Right. I got my cuffs on, and it was always illegal for them to do that. That's why the Jews got kicked out of everywhere, because they go places and it's not against their religion. So they'd be loaning you money at an interest rate, locking you in. And then you look at all this crap right now. It's like, you know, they have it locked in.
Well, no, that's a good point, because it was in the Bible. He basically was saying that, yeah, within your own tribe, you loan your brother money, don't charge him interest. Now, if it's someone outside of your tribe, or you know, like a foreigner, then yeah, you can do that. But no, you're absolutely right. Interest rates and them notes, and I speak about this all the time. It's formed to keep you in bondage.
Yeah.
Student loans, how they say you can get a house, but it'll take 30 years to pay off. You can get a car, it'll take you 15 years. How can you have things you need and you're really you can't even pay it off?
How does it take 40 years to retire and only have enough? If you have a 401k with no money coming in, it'll only sustain you for 5 years. So technically, you just work 40 years for 5 years of freedom.
And you got 5 hours before you got to go to sleep when you get home from work. You know what I mean? You got this little chunk. They're like, well, we let you go home and you can sleep. So, you know, get your sleep and, you know, live your life, and then just come back here, put your shackles back on, and have a good day.
Well, they give you enough time to go home and go to sleep and come back into work and everything like that. The thing is that they feel like the life that you're supposed to live. What life? You work for me. What life you talking about? You know, damn your wife and kids.
And you're, you know, well, you keep them busy and enslaved, and they cannot rebel against you. And that's, you know, they've run that thing for the last, you know, 100, 200 years. I mean, even longer than that. But like,
well, that's what the Pharaoh told this man about, you know, Israel. Keep them busy. Make sure that they'll never, you know that they're actually working. Because keep them busy. They won't know.
Don't give them time to think.
A lot of these people, like we were saying earlier, like you were saying earlier, you were like, you know, a lot of these people aren't interested. A lot of these people, you know, don't care about these topics. A lot of these people don't even have time for it. They ain't got time for it. You know, like it's like
we got bills.
They're just going to work. They're slaving. Luckily, I work in an area. Well, I work in an area. I listen to podcasts all day. No one messes with me. I work by myself. Like, you know, that's what I do. And so I get to listen to all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, why aren't you people waking up? And I'm like, here's this podcast. Here's this, here's that. And no one listens to it because they don't have that convenience of listening to stuff while they're at work or, you know, learning.
Yeah,
that's true, man. So,
man, great talking.
We want to thank you, man. This was great, man. We're going to do a part 2 soon, man.
No doubt.